How's it going, everybody? We are going to show you a quick tutorial about how we make some Wormy Maple hardwood shelving units. So first step, as always, we're going to take a bunch of our dimensional lumber that we have here in the shop, and Ethan's going to start milling it down to proper blanks that we can use to kind of build out all the pieces, which just means we're going to flatten them, we're going to clean them up, we're going to plane them, and we're just going to make rectangles that are the appropriate size that we can bring them down to our shelves. So we take everything, we pre-sand it all a little bit, and we're going to join it all together using our giant clamp rack system here. And then we're going to make just a bunch of these rectangular blanks that we're able to turn into the actual shelving units. Now it's important to keep everything just flat and tight as possible when you're trying to get all these seams put together. So it takes a bunch of clamping force and it takes a bunch of these crossbars that we use. Once you have all of your grooves cut and lined up and all the measurements are done, what you want to do is you pre-fit everything dry without any glue. This is really important because it lets you check on all your joinery and it lets you make sure that everything's going to sit nice and tight. Make sure you have any adjustments that you can do it now, because it's a lot more of a pain once you have the glue going. Once you're ready, we can actually start applying actual glue to all of our tenon joints here. We use that green tape to make sure that the glue doesn't spill out onto the material out too far, because it can be a bit of a pain to sand in those super tight corners when you have to clean up the glue spill. So you can either use a damp rag to clean it all up, or we use the tape. It kind of catches a bunch of the overflow and then we peel it up before it gets too cured. So Ethan's just kind of pre-setting everything up here. And once we had all the pieces set, we kind of locked it all in with these 90-degree blocks that we use to make sure that everything sits nice and square as the glue's dry. So Ethan's lining up our last piece here. It's the only piece in this whole build that didn't actually have just straight wood joinery. We actually used a bit of mechanical fastening on it. So you can see him pre-setting in all of our drill locations, and we use screws to tie everything in at the bottom here. So it's really important when you're doing these wood joints that you keep pressure on with clamps the entire curing process and make sure that everything's fitting nice and tight and snug, because otherwise it's going to shift on you and then you're going to have to plane it all off and you're going to have to do a lot more cleanup work. So it's a lot easier to get everything nice and clean and tight the first time, so that way you don't have to worry about anything later on, and it takes a lot less finishing work. So now Cole has drilled out using a plug cutter a bunch of these Wormy Maple plugs, and he's using it to fill in the back end of all of our screw holes so that you can't see any of the mechanical attachments there. So now he's just sanding off all of the additional plugs so that it sits all nice and flush and smooth. And then with these guys, the client wanted a nice rustic look to the Wormy Maple, so we're using this like dark chocolate stain on everything, and it really shows off the nice grain patterns of the maple without taking too much of that pigment in, and just kind of painting the whole process, which is really, really nice with these guys. So in order to get a nice even coat, we spread everything out with this nice trowel and we buff it all in so it feels nice and smooth by the time we're done here. And then it's off to the drying area so that we don't have any dust or debris or anything like that. And then here they are looking just fantastic in our photo space for our final project here, and you can tell that these things look wild.
Vinogradofff. Start your wood journey today.